Tonight, we're witnessing what might be the biggest shakeup in federal law enforcement history. FBI Director Christopher Wray, the man who turned America's premier law enforcement agency into a political weapon, has suddenly resigned. But here's the real story. It's not just a resignation, it's a retreat. A retreat that comes exactly 40 days before Donald Trump's return to power. Wray's departure and Pete Hegseth's nomination aren't just personnel changes. They're opening salvos in Trump's systematic dismantling of the administrative state. And the question is, who is next? Now, Patriots, let me tell you something about protecting yourself from a corrupt system. Just as the FBI has lost its way, our financial system has strayed from its golden foundations. That's why smart Americans are moving their retirement accounts into precious metals, global gold investments. They understand that real money doesn't answer to bureaucrats. Call that number on the screen, 888-700-4148, and receive their exclusive 2024 Protect Your Wealth and Retirement Guide. You'll get it free when you mention Next News. Plus, you can receive up to $1,000 in free silver. How about that? That's for all retirement rollovers this month of December. Don't let your savings be weaponized. Call that number, 888-700-4148 now. Also, join our exclusive membership community right below the window here. The word join, tap it, and you'll get behind-the-scenes access and be part of the movement exposing the truth. Okay, lots to get into in this segment. Of course, the neocons do what they do best, and Lisa Markowski is one of those. And, Pete Hegseth is running around Capitol Hill. He's trying to get everybody's support. Lisa Markowski, she's a neocon. She needs to be primaried, but this is what she had to say.
Are you ready to support him? Did you learn anything that swayed you at all?
I had a good exchange with Mr. Hegseth.
Are you ready to support him?
I had a good exchange and
Will you support him? I had a good exchange. Right? Typical.
see what the process bears.
What more are you looking to learn?
Well, he's got probably at least half the Senate that he's going to visit with. He's got a process that is going to involve full vetting for the administration and then ultimately a cabinet.
What about the allegations? What about the allegations?
Questions with respect to the sexual assault allegations? Didn't he answer your questions on the sexual assault allegations?
Did he answer your questions, right? Of course, that is what the press does best, is they drum up things that have no matter, right? And you see how she ran to the elevator. That's the other tactic the senators and congressmen love to use. They run to the elevator to hide from the press. And speaking of the new administration, Trump is apparently, he's invited President Xi to his inauguration ceremony. And it looks like we have Clandestine, who says we don't have to be enemies. We could choose diplomacy to avoid full-scale World War III. Peace is possible. Trump's team also reportedly making moves to accommodate other foreign dignitaries for his swearing-in ceremony. Wow, that would be something to see. And here we have another one. Indiana Senator Todd Young will not commit to voting to approve Pete Hegseth as Secretary of Defense. So you guys know what to do. Primary that guy. Also, this is interesting because, the talk of tariffs has really got Canada and Mexico on edge. Well, now the Ontario Premier Doug Ford, is this the same Doug Ford who was smoking crack? Is this the same guy? I think it is, right? Anyway, he's threatening to cut off fuel to the United States if Trump tariffs Canada.
Tariff about it, as I mentioned to the Prime Minister, the rest of the premiers, we need to be ready. We need to be ready to fight. This fight is coming 100% on January the 20th or January 21st. We don't know what extent this fight's going to go to, but we need to line up everything that we're going to tariff and make sure that the tariff, the money that's coming from these tariffs, don't go into a federal bank account sitting there somewhere. It needs to be immediately distributed right across the province equally, and we'll be able to support the companies, the factories, the workers for any issues that they're facing at the time. So it's a good start.
Did he give you any details of where those retaliatory tariffs would be aimed on American goods?
No, Chrystia Freeland's going to put a list together. We're going to put our list together, and I'm sure the other provinces will as well. But we will go to the full extent, depending on how far this goes. We will go to the extent of cutting off their energy, going down to Michigan, going down to New York State, and over to Wisconsin. I don't want this to happen, but my number one job is to protect Ontarians and Canadians as a whole, since we're the largest.
Okay, buddy, bring it. Cut it off, man. It's only going to force us to be more self-sufficient. Okay, no threats from Canada are going to stop Donald Trump, and it's really going to be to your detriment. So keep the threats coming, buddy. But I do want to make a point here. It was actually Rob Ford. He was the mayor of Toronto, who was the guy smoking crack. He apparently died at the age of 46. And well, if you look at him, you'd understand why. Maybe he's related. They look like they could be easily related. Anyway, we've got this too. This is some solid gold. Cash Patel handling the press like a boss today. Watch this.
Yeah, and I'll be ready.
Are you going to be seeking retribution against Donald Trump's political opponents, sir?
Are you going to be seeking retribution against Donald Trump's political opponents? Yeah, I love how they just load these questions up, right?
Are you going to be seeking retribution against Donald Trump's political opponents, sir?
Sorry, what's your reaction to that resignation? We look forward to a very smooth transition at the FBI, and I'll be ready to go on day one.
Have you talked to President-elect Trump? He just issued a statement on Truth Social supporting you once again and saying this is a great day. Any response to the president-elect?
To the side.
Did he call you after the Wray announcement?
Do you think it was smart for him to resign?
Wow, why isn't he answering questions? I mean,
Thank you all.
He should. I think he should at least answer some of those questions. I hate it when politicians or bureaucrats get, they don't answer the questions. Like, we have questions that are legit, so answer them. I mean, like, those questions were softballs, okay? I can understand some of the other ones, but come on, Cash. I know you got it. You can do it. Anyway, Elon Musk with his Department of Government Efficiency, alongside Vivek Ramaswamy, they want to cut $2 trillion from the federal government. Wall Street Mav 5 hours ago says that Elon has now recommended, and Trump has agreed apparently, that the F-35 needs to be canceled. This is apparently a $2 trillion fighter program that's already obsolete. In the era of drone warfare, it's crazy to be spending $2 trillion or more over a decade on a plane that is not needed. So it looks like this is on the chopping block. Now, there is a community note here, only visible to contributors. New York Post did not publish the news. It was posted on X by a correspondent. Lockheed Martin called it fake news. No contract was signed in 2024. $1 trillion today would buy 11,000 F-35s, 4.5 times more than planned U.S. procurement. And quite a few sources there. But whether or not, if this was not posted by the New York Post, it doesn't matter. There is so much fat in that military budget that they're easily going to find ways to cut it. Bad hombre. They say here that Trump was selected as Person of the Year. Christopher Wray resigns. Trump is going to be ringing in the New York Stock Exchange opening bell tomorrow. Yes, a very bad day for Trump derangement sufferers. Trump to ring in the New York Stock Exchange bell. Opening tomorrow, a symbolic gesture at the heart of American capitalism. His visit comes as markets rally on his promises of tax cuts and deregulation, and we are excited for it. Also, Tom Homan, he is the new border czar. Well, he was just in Chicago, and he told residents he's going to prosecute Mayor Brandon Johnson, and it sounds like Governor Pritzker, Jelly Belly himself, has said, oh, yes, I'll sit down with him. We'll talk. Yeah, because they know that if they're going to harbor illegals breaking the law, that they're all going to be held liable.
I will prosecute. If he impedes us, if he knowingly harbors and conceals an illegal alien, I will prosecute him.
And while Homan says there are no plans for family separation, President Trump's immigration surrogate offered this blunt take.
You need to take the child home with you. If he impedes us.
So we'll see what happens. Hopefully, I love seeing politicians go to jail, especially, I mean, in our state, it's pretty common practice. And then here is the resignation of Christopher Wray that kind of caught everybody off guard today. I mean, we knew it was going to happen, but we didn't expect. We knew it was going to happen. We reported on it the other day, and now it's official. Here are the details.
After weeks of careful thought, I've decided the right thing for the Bureau is for me to serve until the end of the current administration in January and then step down.
Bye-bye!
My goal is to keep the focus on our mission, on the indispensable work each of you is doing every single day. And in my view, this is the best way to avoid dragging the Bureau deeper into the fray while reinforcing the values and principles that are so important in how we do our work. Now, it should go without saying, but I'm going to go ahead and say it anyways.
What are you going to say?
This is not easy for me. I love this place. I love our mission, and I love our people. But my focus is, and always has been, on us and on doing what's right for the FBI.
Let me make a correction there. Going after conservatives and rating Biden's political opponents. That's what he meant to say. Of course, we have more to get to here. Geraldo Rivera, this is unexpected, leaves a CNN panel speechless as he goes to bat for Pete Hegseth. Wow, Geraldo, what's up, man?
I know Pete, Major Pete, I call him pretty well, being on Fox and Friends weekend for those many years, sitting on the couch with him, sharing the couch. Been out with him. I thought, as Scott mentions, that he was on the ropes for a lot of the stuff coming up that none of us had ever heard of before because of non-disclosures and so forth. But then Pete did something. Major Pete did something that I think is the difference between a combat veteran and the rest of the world. What Pete did was go to his combat brothers, and it was they who started speaking on his behalf, saying, talking about his courage, talking about how he earned those 2 Bronze Stars, how he never allowed his men to get in front of him in a hot zone. And I think that's what the Defense Department needs. That's what the Pentagon needs. And I think that realization swept subtly, but I think with growing momentum through Washington, D.C., that if you haven't served the country in combat, then shut up. Or, you better respect.
I mean,
respect. I know Pete.
Oh, wow. That was unexpected from Geraldo. But he's standing behind him. And then we got this from Anomaly. Facebook is back to censoring messages from President Trump. Yeah, no surprise. Here is the post that Anomaly made. Trump on Wray's resignation, violent or graphic content. This photo is covered so people can choose whether they want to see it. Let's see what's so violent. Oh, it's text. It's text from President Trump being censored on Facebook. Yeah, but that is exactly what he said. He said, the resignation of Christopher Wray is a great day for America, as it will end the weaponization of what has become known as the United States Department of Injustice. I just don't know what happened to him. We will now restore the rule of law for all Americans under the leadership of Christopher Wray. The FBI illegally raided my home without cause, worked diligently on illegally impeaching and indicting me, and has done everything else to interfere with the success and future of America. They have used their vast powers to threaten and destroy many innocent Americans, some of which will never be able to recover from what has been done to them. Cash Patel is the most qualified nominee to lead the FBI in the agency's history and is committed to helping ensure that law, order, and justice will be brought back to our country again. And soon, as everyone knows, I have great respect for the rank and file FBI. And they have great respect for me. They want to see these changes every bit as much as I do, but more importantly, the American people are demanding a strong but fair system of justice. We want our FBI back, and that will now happen. I look forward to Cash Patel's confirmation so that the process of making the FBI great again can begin. I didn't quite hear anything that would warrant a violent or graphic content label. Did you? Did you hear anything? I mean, I've seen pictures on Facebook that get this label, and you tap it, and there's clearly something graphic or perhaps inappropriate underneath it. But this is absolutely bizarre. It's simply text from the president-elect. So Facebook is back up to their old tricks. And Adam Schiff, of course, he's weighing in on all this. Grateful to Director Wray for his years of service to the FBI and the country. Very sorry to see him step down. All the more disappointed it was necessitated by an incoming president's desire to prioritize an unqualified conspiracy theorist over an experienced professional. There you have it. Adam Schiff weighing in. Oh, rate posed community notes. What's this about? What is this? We got a community note. Cash Patel has held several senior roles in justice, national security in both Obama and Trump administration, making him qualified nominee. Okay, and look at this, guys. This is not shown on X because we have the power now to see behind the community notes. Should we say, is this helpful? Yes, it is helpful. And we'll say it is, how about this? It directly addresses the post claim, provides important, provides important context? How about that? Yeah, provides important context. Ching, let's go. All right, good. All right, so we have just helped the ecosystem of X to bring truth to this. Now we have this. This is from clandestine. FBI Director Christopher resigns before Trump is able to take office. The rats are abandoning ship. They know the upcoming Trump administration are going to gut the FBI and seek accountability for all their nefarious activity. Let's hear how Fox ran this. This was actually posted by Trump War Room earlier today.
He had two. Well, John, Christopher Wray, the FBI director, is making this announcement right now in an all-staff town hall with thousands of FBI employees across the country. He says now is his time to go. As you mentioned, he has a 10-year term. All FBI directors do. He was 7 years into his 10-year term, and realistically, he had two options. Wait to be fired by President-elect Donald Trump because Trump announced Cash Patel would take over, or bow out before. He has chosen to bow out before. Wray is a former Republican lawyer, former DOJ prosecutor here in Washington, D.C., hired by Trump in 2017 after Trump fired James Comey after the entire Russia investigation probe. And Wray pretty much stayed out of the headlines as much as he could, at least. But in 2022, former President Trump became increasingly angry when the FBI raided Mar-a-Lago during the classified documents investigation. Of course, that was ordered by Attorney General Merrick Garland, who oversees the Justice Department, not Christopher Wray. But nonetheless, Christopher Wray saw the future and saw that it is his time to go. So he will be stepping down as Cash Patel, the upcoming FBI director, if confirmed, is on Capitol Hill. So the director right now is making this announcement to an all-staff meeting. We're waiting to get some wording of some of his.
Okay, we got some of that detail already from Christopher Wray. And then we have Josh Hawley. The resignation of Christopher Wray is years overdue. Never forget, he allowed the FBI to recruit informants in Catholic parishes. He sent SWAT teams to terrorize pro-lifers. He worked hand in glove with big tech corporations to censor speech of everyday Americans. He is disgraceful. And buckle up, folks. I've been saying this, and now Lionel's posting this. You know, we got these deportations from the border czar. Trump is already amping up his team, getting them ready for mass deportations on day one. So I already said this, you're going to see more media amplification of these types of images. Remember Elian Gonzalez? Yeah, this is what Lionel says. Come the day after the inauguration and deportations are officially on the table, brace for the press to go full Elian Gonzalez on us. As we speak, prostitutes are dusting off their old covers. Just watch. Who can ever remember that? Of course, that was during the Clinton administration. And now we have this too, the Canadian, oh boy, Canadian Green Party leader, Elizabeth May. She is shaking in her heels, expresses growing concern over Trump's remarks about taking over Canada, urging people to take the issue seriously. Okay. Really? You think Trump is going to invade Canada? I mean, he's trolling you, girl.
Trump on his Truth Social this morning greeted the Prime Minister as the governor of the 51st state, something along that line. Have you seen that? Do you have any thoughts about that, about the dynamics of the relationship?
I haven't seen that, but so I probably should comment. Just that with the Truth Social post of Donald Trump planting a Canadian flag on a Canadian mountain, I have to say that to the extent that this 51st state thing was a joke, it's not funny. And I find that pursuing it on social media makes me increasingly nervous. Mr. Trump has, we have to be very, very careful with the president-elect, and we have to pull together, I think, all opposition party leaders and premiers, all elements of the Canadian political establishment, such as we are, better pull together to make sure we don't create any cracks that allow Fox News or Mr. Trump's social media to exploit us and say things about Canada that aren't true.
Trump on his Truth Social this morning.
Oh, boy. Yeah, we better be careful. Trump's making jokes on the internet. He's going to invade Canada. Take it seriously. It's for real. All this as the White House is announcing a $50 billion loan to Ukraine. $50 billion loan to
Sovereign
Ukraine.
Asset. The United States and G7 are now making good on that commitment. Together, we will leverage income earned from frozen Russian sovereign assets to provide a total of $50 billion of extraordinary revenue acceleration ERA loans to Ukraine. This will lend vital support to the people of Ukraine as they defend their country, and it also makes clear aggressors and tyrants will be responsible for the damage they cause.
Wow.
The United States.
$50 billion. And this was the post that, this was actually the Christopher Wray post that he posted today, that Facebook flagged the Canadian Prime Minister, a Canadian Green Party leader. She's freaking out. FBI Director Christopher Wray resigning, good riddance. Check this out. This was at Mar-a-Lago. I believe this was last night. Was it last night? Yeah. It was last night. In fact, I was invited to go. I couldn't go. I couldn't. Getting down there is a lot of work, and the ticket prices were pretty expensive. But it was Tucker. I mean, it would have been worth every penny, though. You had Tucker Carlson, General Flynn, Kid Rock, Mel Gibson. They were all there at Mar-a-Lago. Quite an amazing night. What else have we got here? Oklahoma Senator Mark Wayne Mullen says Iowa Senator Joni Ernst should not be primaried if she votes no on Pete Hegseth for Secretary of Defense. Well, why not? She should not be primaried. According to Fox News, yeah. How about we primary her? And then we have this. We have Kimberly Guilfoyle is now the pick for the ambassadorship to Greece. In fact, I sent her a message congratulating her, and maybe I'll be able to go out to Greece and go hang out in the ambassador's residence with Kimberly. That would be something cool. I'm looking forward to that maybe this summer, but we'll have to wait and see. What else? Okay, so speaking of Adam Schiff, and he's talking about grateful to the FBI director. We have this. Western Lensman Post says, Schiff, today I don't think the incoming president should be threatening his political opponents with jail time. That's not the kind of talk we should hear from the president in a democracy. October, what does Biden say? We got to lock Trump up.
President, I don't think the incoming president should be threatening his political opponents with jail time. That's not the kind of talk we should hear from a president in a democracy.
So I know this sounds bizarre. It sounds like if I said this 5 years ago, you'd lock me up. We got to lock him up.
I don't think the...
Now, of course, Biden, after the applause, he came back and said, politically lock him up, right? Well, he was only just covering his ass on that. And we have more from Adam Schiff. Adam Schiff repeatedly called for Trump to be indicted. Now he says Trump shouldn't indict Democrat criminals. 2018, 2019, 2024. Let's
Political
listen.
opponents would. On the day Donald Trump leaves office, the Justice Department may indict him. Very strongly in favor of indicting the president when he is out of office.
I don't think the incoming president should be threatening his political opponents with jail time. That's not the kind of talk we should hear from a president in a democracy.
You know what? But the citizens of this republic would love to see you behind bars, Adam Schiff. That's where you belong, making license plates. And speaking of what happened at Mar-a-Lago, Mel Gibson, now he wasn't on the ticket. He wasn't on the invitation that I received. So when I saw this clip, I'm like, holy cow, Mel Gibson. He is there at Mar-a-Lago. And he says, thanks to those exposing all these wolves in sheep's clothing that prey upon our young. Oh, this is awesome.
My house. Endured 4 years of thinly veiled Marxism. And, now I think what we have is a 4-year grace period. But we have to work hard, all of them. And I don't know, the president's got a big job on his hands to turn this place around. A lot of damage was done. And they continue to start fires, just like around my house. But I'd like to thank what the general here is doing. He's no small part of this because the problem here is many faceted. And for he and his sister Mary for exposing all these wolves in sheep's clothing that prey upon our young. I mean, I got 9 kids. I don't know, if one of them got stolen or trafficked or something, I'd have to kill someone. So that we tolerate this as we do, well, we see people here, we won't tolerate it. And that should work. But look, I'm just happy to be here and accept this, very proud. And I hope in the next 4 years we can get back some of that precious commodity that this country has. That commodity called freedom, all right? So, and it's like, we'll see how much this administration can claw back from the Philistines. Okay, thank you very much.
Wow. Mel Gibson. Mel Gibson just showing up at Mar-a-Lago. Oh, and then we have this. Okay. Did you see this clip? These are the people that need to be removed from the bureaucracy that is choking this country to death. Now, this is the Postmaster General. All right. Gunther Eagleman says, I've never seen someone act like this. In a hearing, the Postmaster General threw a temper tantrum and covered his ears as Representative McCormick ripped him a new one. This is childish behavior.
Mail and delivered it. You were graded by the United States people, and they don't use your service anymore. You bankrupt.
That is not true.
You bankrupt this through your reputation only. Through your reputation, you are responsible for the fall of the Postal Service and the lack of accountability.
Congress is responsible for the fall of the Postal Service.
So it's Congress.
I am trying to fix
on your
the Postal
watch
Service.
With all the AI.
Before my watch, the same stuff happened.
With all the AI, with all the computer systems, you're worse than if I took a horse and picked up the mail and delivered it 2 miles down the road. That's you. I hope you got that on camera. This is the response that the postmaster just gave Congress when he doesn't like what he hears. Literally covered his ears and gave himself the grade of A. And with that, sir, I rest.
Wow. I mean, this is a textbook visual of our entire bureaucracy. They act like toddlers as they destroy our country. It's like catching your child and they've just gone through the cookie jar. The cookie jar is smashed. The cookies are all over the floor. And you start to go, what did you do? What did you do? And they go, oh, I didn't do anything. I didn't do anything. It was somebody else, right? Acting like children. And then we've got this news. I was a little taken by this. Former Congressman Matt Gaetz, just a day ago, you don't want to miss it. Now, I'm going to say it. I'm a little disappointed by this. I mean, I knew that Gaetz, he had his own podcast. He was doing his own media stuff. But really, he's doing a show on One America News? I mean, listen, I love One America News. I love what they're doing over there. But all this tells me is that he's not going in the Senate. And he's not, apparently, by this, being appointed as some kind of special prosecutor for anything under the FBI or the DOJ. He's just going to put the spotlight on him so we can talk some more. Listen, Matt, we need your ass in the Senate. We need your ass in Congress, okay? Listen, I love you. I love what you have to say. But there are a lot of people already in the conservative space who are making waves, who are having an impact. Now, listen, I appreciate everything you have to say, but you have more power when you're in Congress and you're or the Senate doing the work of the people. Now, I ran a super PAC 2012. I know the bureaucracy, the Federal Election Commission. I know all the rules, and it's all a bunch of crap. And I understand that when you are a public servant, you are bound by the chains of the Constitution, as it should be. All right? And I personally decided I was never going to run a PAC again. I'm going to go headfirst into media, and I started the Next News Network. Okay? But that was only because I ran a super PAC during the 2012 presidential election supporting Congressman Paul. But you, sir, you have a track record. People love when you kick ass on the floor of the House, and I wanted to see you on the floor of the Senate kicking even more ass. And now he's going to have his own show. God bless him. I wish you the best of luck. But I think we need you kicking ass, taking names on the floor of the Senate. What are you going to do? You're going to make news headlines. You're going to criticize people. Okay, I mean, I don't know, guys. What do you think? Am I off base here? Would you rather see him kicking ass in the Senate or the House? He was elected. The people want him there. He could go and serve in Congress in the next Congress. But going to One America News? Come on, man. Please. Anyway. Okay. Now, you know how I feel. I'm going to read these comments. I want your reaction in these comments on this. Please. Okay. Stephen Miller. Here's what he had to say. The world is going to change on January 20th.
Asylum, the mission, but everything in the world is going to change on January 20th. Because the President of the United States is going to use every single legal, diplomatic, and financial tool to halt the entry of all illegal aliens into this country. There will be no benefits, there will be no entry, there will be no asylum, there will be no admission. You may be prosecuted, you will certainly be arrested, and you will absolutely be deported. The entire world, Mexico, Northern Triangle, Central America, South America, Africa, Asia, the Middle East, will get this message. There is no unlawful route to enter the United States of America. Every presidential authority, including his absolute authority under Article 2 to defend the territorial sovereignty of the United States, will be used. From the Department of Defense to the Department of Justice to Homeland Security and every single other lawful authority at his disposal. It will be the end of the evasion. It will be the beginning of the liberation.
Well, Steve.
The beginning of the liberation of the United States. We have Joe Biden on. Biden says he hopes Trump will build on his economic success over the last 4 years. What economic success? Economic destruction is more like it. Donald Trump Jr. weighing in on his former fiancée, Kimberly Guilfoyle. Yes, apparently they are no longer together. Donald Trump Jr. weighing in. I'm so proud of Kimberly. She loves America, and she always has wanted to serve the country as an ambassador. She will be an amazing leader for America First. Donald Trump, of course, posting, I'm pleased to announce the appointment of Kimberly Guilfoyle as the United States ambassador to Greece. For many years, Kimberly has been a close friend and ally. Her extensive experience in leadership in law and media and politics, along with her sharp intellect, make her supremely qualified to represent the United States and safeguard its interests abroad. She's perfectly suited to foster strong bilateral relations with Greece, advancing our interests on issues ranging from defense cooperation and trade and economic innovation. Congratulations, Kimberly. That would be something, right? And okay, check this out. Speaking of immigration, we got the Tom Homan stuff going on. San Diego Board of Supervisors, buckle up. They just voted 3-1 to turn the county into a super sanctuary county by shielding illegals, from deportation and preventing police from notifying ICE.
If this can, I think this policy goes beyond California's existing sanctuary laws by adding an additional layer of bureaucracy that hinders local law enforcement from directly notifying ICE about illegal immigrants who are currently in our jails, and they have committed heinous crimes, including child abuse or endangerment, driving under the influence of alcohol or drugs, but only if this conviction is for a felony, possession of an unlawful deadly weapon, gang-related offenses, a crime resulting in death or involving personal affliction or great bodily injury, possession, they could cause that same harm again.
So San Diego County, they can't wait to keep all those illegals who are committing all those horrible crimes in their county. But Tom Homan is probably going to have to arrest some people there in the county. We've got this too. Tulsi Gabbard and Bernie Moreno talked to reporters after their meeting. Let's listen in.
This is going really, really well. I think most of my colleagues, all of my colleagues, recognize that President Trump got a pretty remarkable mandate. I think we quite often talk about the unprecedented election of an incredible popular vote margin, 312 electoral votes, 7 swing states out of 7 by sizable margins. So I think our job here as a Republican conference is to get the nominees through as quickly as possible. We're seeing incredible momentum. Obviously, Tulsi's one that's going to sail right through. We feel really positive about getting her nomination across the finish line. Probably one of the first ones, honestly. So I think it's all going really, really well. I got to meet Tulsi when she came out to Ohio a couple of years ago as a Democrat, speaking at a Republican Lincoln Day dinner, and she got a great reception in Mahoning County. But that's the best example of what's happening right now. Mahoning County was a heavily Democratic county. Sherrod Brown had won that resoundingly in his last 3 elections. We flipped Mahoning County. And it was Mahoning County that invited Tulsi to go speak, 700 people there. And it's that traditional Democrat constituent that's now firmly on the side of Republicans. And I think his nomination, it was a stroke of brilliance to bring somebody like Tulsi in to help with intelligence issues where the American people have asked for a different direction. They've asked for us to be much more deliberate about where we interject ourselves around the world. So super excited to have you here, Tulsi. Thank you for stopping by.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's we had a great conversation, and your home state has always been very welcoming to me, and it really is exciting to see how many Americans have come together and are eager for the work to begin under this new administration. I'm honored to have been invited to be part of the team, and really appreciate and grateful for your support.
Absolutely.
So Tulsi Gabbard making some waves there. And then here's more on Adam Schiff.
Opponents with jail. I don't think the incoming president should be threatening his political opponents with jail time. That's not the kind of talk we should hear from a president in a democracy. Nor do I think that a pardon is necessary for the members of the January 6th committee. We're proud of the work we did on that committee. It was a fundamental oversight obligation to investigate the first attempt to interfere with a peaceful transfer of power in our history. Many of you were here in this building during that violent attack, and we're proud of the work we did to expose what went into that once-in-history effort to interfere with the transition of power.
And we look forward to exposing you, Adam Schiff. Here is Representative Ilhan Omar says Democrats plan to use governors, attorney generals to resist Trump's immigration agenda, touting Minnesota counties that don't cooperate with immigration enforcement. Look who's back.
Work with our government. Well, we do what we have done in his previous term. This is, why we were warning people. We knew what he's capable of. We resist. We work with our attorney generals in states. We work with our governors. We work with our mayors. We have to do everything that we can. In Minnesota, there are so many counties where the county does not have a relationship with ICE, where they are not identifying folks through that system. So we have to find ways to implement programs and carry out protections and boost advocacy and fight like we've never fought before to make sure our communities remain safe and stable.
Safe and stable. Really? Okay. Sure. Safe and stable by having all of these illegals running around the country. Yeah, that's what we got, folks. It is a clown show on Capitol Hill, and we are here for it. Thankfully, we have Donald Trump to look forward to clean house, and the garbage has already taken itself out, as evidenced by Christopher Wray. He sees the writing on the wall. He knows that Cash Patel is about to come in, and of course, Kimberly Guilfoyle is getting ready to go to Greece. How cool is that? But again, remember, the press is going to go nuts the minute that Tom Homan and his crew go after all these illegals. It's going to be wild to witness, but Canada is going to continue to freak out as we send $50 billion more. We got this also from Tom Fitton. Fannie Willis apparently confesses. Judicial Watch and State Court forced Fannie Willis to confirm additional documents exist about her collusion with the partisan Pelosi J6 committee. So, how many pardons are we going to be looking at here?
True. Well, Fannie Willis just confessed to having records of her communications with the January 6th Pelosi operation, the Get Trump operation. She only confessed to this yesterday, thanks to a Judicial Watch lawsuit. Of course, when we first sued and began asking for these records, they told us they had no records. Well, it turns out that wasn't true. In fact, the only reason we got the confession yesterday was because a court last week found her in default. She didn't bother to answer the lawsuit under law as she was supposed to. But rather than turn the records over, as the court, I think, strongly suggested, she's using a loophole of exemptions and privileges to hide the records from the American people. Now, we're going to push back hard in court. Our heavy lifting will continue. But in the meantime, this really does confirm, A, she was in collusion with the Pelosi operation to get Trump. B, she has no respect for the rule of law. C, she has no respect for your right to know.
So let's hope that Fannie Willis, maybe the FBI will do some investigating with her. And then we got this curious photograph of Mitch McConnell. This guy is not looking well. I mean, his hands, something is definitely wrong with Mitch McConnell. He's got bruises all over himself. And this guy really just needs to just step away. So I'm not sure what's going on. Lots of stuff happening on Capitol Hill today. I think we've got everything for this segment. Oh, here's speaking of Canada. Justin Trudeau is mad Americans voted for Trump 8 hours ago.
A few weeks ago. Now, it shouldn't be that way. It wasn't supposed to be that way. We were supposed to be on a steady, if difficult sometimes, march towards progress. And yet, just a few weeks ago, the United States voted for a second time to not elect its first woman president.
Oh, give me a break.
Everywhere, women's rights and women's progress is under attack, overtly and subtly. But I want you to know that I am, and always will be, a proud feminist. You will always...
I just gotta cut it there. Oh, man, Castro's son, P's sitting down. Oh, man, that's awesome. Wow. Yeah. Oh, that's hilarious. I'm going to be proud feminist. Oh, and then we got this guy, Tricky Dick Durbin, went on CNN, called for an FBI investigation into all of the critical nominees. An FBI investigation? Oh, wow.
FBI report. But, you know, the bottom line is this. We need to have an FBI investigation of all these critical nominees. For 70 years, that's been the gold standard here on Capitol Hill. We have a constitutional responsibility to advise and consent, and to do that professionally and completely, we need an FBI report on Mr. Hegseth and all the other nominees.
Tricky Dick. Yeah, he is a senator from my state, my failed state of Illinois. Oh, boy. I'd love to see that guy just go away. I think we got it all. I think we covered it all for this segment. But we got more coming up. So stay tuned. And let me just do one more check, one more run through. Sometimes all these tweets don't load, and I want to make sure I get them all for you. And I think that's it. I know you guys don't like it when I scroll like this, but I'm doing this for your good. All right? I'm doing it for you because I love you guys. And of course, Kimberly Guilfoyle. Now, the implications of today's events cannot be overstated. Wray's resignation isn't just the end of an era, it's the beginning of a complete overhaul of our federal law enforcement apparatus, with Cash Patel positioned to take the helm and Pete Hegseth headed for defense. We're looking at a complete restructuring of our national security infrastructure, but here's the question that should keep the deep state up at night. And this is for you guys in the comments. If Wray is running now, what does he know about what's coming? Share your theories in the comments below. And speaking of standing against the deep state, have you seen our Mag Avengers collection at the Next News merch shop? Our exclusive line lets you wear your resistance proudly, so head to the link in the description, shop.nextnewsnetwork.com, and grab yours before they are gone.